signed on March 18th.
Good, and all board members are present.
We ask you to speak louder so we can hear. Me? Everybody in general.
Okay.
Thank you.
The first item on the agenda is the review and approval of the prior board meeting minutes.
No.
No? Okay.
Number 3.
Okay, old business.
No, number 3.
Quorum. Good, five quorum. I said all board members are
Okay.
present.
Yeah, Dave said that already.
David, if you don't mind, I'd like to read the
Sure.
statement.
Please.
I got it.
Good afternoon, all. The board meeting last week on March 13th got a little out of hand. We understand that each one of you have your opinions, which may be different than others, and
What
we
is
do
this,
want to give
another
you the
Lori,
opportunity to
a
speak.
Lori story?
However, I must remind all of you that we are obligated to follow Florida law, and I would like to remind everyone what Florida statute states. Florida statute 720.3066 states the following in regards to members' right to speak. Members and parcel owners have the right to attend all membership meetings and to speak at any meeting with reference to all items open for discussion or included on the agenda. Notwithstanding any provisions to the contrary in the governing documents or any rules adopted by the board or by the membership, a member and parcel owner have the right to speak for at least 3 minutes on any item. The association may adopt written reasonable rules governing the frequency, duration, and other manner of member
Actually, she's still a
in other manner, member and parcel owner statements, which rules must be consistent with this subsection. Speaking multiple times, speaking over someone else, speaking off agenda topics, and arguing is causing chaos. We must be respectful of all the other homeowners and the time of the board members. These meetings are not designed to last 3 to 4 hours, but we do want to give each homeowner who attends the right to
I don't
speak.
even know if that's.
Tonight, I ask that all present, regardless of in-person or Zoom, understand and follow North Shore's procedures, which have been in place for several years and adhere to Florida statute.
Yeah, Lori.
Reminder, there is no requirement that any board member has to answer your question or respond to your comments. Homeowners will be allotted one opportunity to speak for 3 minutes. Only questions or comments regarding agenda items can be addressed.
No.
We ask that if you have a question or comment on a topic listed on the agenda, you wait until the homeowner comment section of this meeting and raise your hand and wait your turn prior to speaking.
See here,
Prior to speaking, we do ask that you state your name and address for the record.
They can't limit.
If any homeowner that is present interjects, disrupts this meeting, or disregards the statement I just read regarding Florida statute and North Carolina procedures, they will be asked to leave the meeting and join via Zoom. The board has agreed to in-person meetings for the past 2 meetings. In order to maintain structure, follow policy and procedure, and Florida statute, it is important that you follow the reminders I just mentioned. If we are unable to maintain order in these meetings, you may need to consider returning to Zoom only. Last but not least, please let's all be courteous of one another.
Thank you, Laurie. The next item on the agenda is old business.
Did they approve the minutes? I asked her to.
I have a question, clarification from last meeting concerning the motion that Paul made to remove Mr. Mathison from the board. So I'm a little confused as to the actual results of the vote. Could you help us out, gentlemen?
Good.
Dr. Mathison wouldn't be permitted to vote on his removal because he's an interested, not disinterested director
Oh, now
with
she's
respect to
making-
any motion to remove him. He also has a direct conflict of interest on voting regarding whether he would be removed as a director. I would suggest for clarity's sake that we do that vote again.
Tonight?
Yes.
No, now
I
that
have-
there's only 4 of them.
He can vote.
Oh, we now have a discussion.
Well, we have a motion first.
Okay.
I'm gonna make a motion to remove Greg Mathison as director of the association without cause pursuant to Article 5, Section 4 of the amended bylaws of the association.
I second the motion.
Any discussion?
Yes, why? What has this man done? I'm not looking at the attorney. Paul, I'm looking at you. What has this man done besides fight for the homeowners? What has this man done that you are
causing, that you were motioning to remove it?
He's not going to answer.
So we have to spend, I have to be, that way we're including board members.
This is a discussion.
We have to stay-
I'm asking a question. What has this man done besides fight for the homeowners that elected him, that you're motioning to remove him?
Want to see the removal section?
Oh, I know what section 5 is. I read it yesterday. Thank you. Thank you. Jeffrey.
Yeah, I'm not gonna get into it right now, Kurt, and that's all I'm gonna say right now, okay?
We're not trying to get into it. We're having a discussion.
Yeah.
That's why we're here.
Any other discussion? I have a question. Which takes precedence, Ms. Engler? Florida statute or improperly adopted bylaws that you couldn't even make the 2/3 vote? Florida statute 720-303-10A1 states a board member can only be removed by 50% of the homeowners plus one. Which takes precedent, and that's an important question of you as a lawyer, and I think of interest to the Florida bar. Bylaws or Florida law? That's the question.
These bylaws are from 2001, so they're not bylaws that have been changed since 2001.
Which takes precedence, Florida bylaws or Florida or your bylaws or Florida statute?
In this situation, the bylaws.
That's an important answer. I hope everyone recorded that. Okay. Florida statute doesn't have. Okay, we'll call a vote. All in favor?
Well, I'm not done with the discussion yet, Mr. Gordon.
You already spoke, Mr. Cole.
All right, I already spoke, but no one answered my question. Are we having a discussion or are we just having a one-way conversation?
No one seemed to
Okay.
be inclined.
What about you, Ms. Solik? You seconded the motion?
All in favor?
I,
Nay.
The vote carries 3-1. 3-2.
it's no.
3-2.
You can't count. The motion carries 3-1. Mr. Mathison, as you're not permitted to vote on your removal because you are an interested nor disinterested director with respect to the motion to remove yourself. And you have a direct conflict of interest on whether or not you should be removed as a director. That motion carries 3-1.
She's lying.
Thank you. Any other old business?
Sorry, not until the homeowner.
Okay.
Please.
I have one other question about a different motion from last week, and I think you guys remember that
The board.
the board spoke on the outside contractor issue, and I was a little confused after reading or after thinking about what she said last week, because I know that Lori and I had met with Lee several months ago when she had requested that the board reconsider the policy that was passed because of section 7.2 or 3, I don't know, whatever section she was referring to. So I don't know.
Please.
Oh, I don't know if exactly what she was asking the board to consider last week. I heard two different things, so I just wanted some clarity. So do you have any further information?
I did, I spoke to Lee a little while ago, and Lee's first choice, I spoke to Lee a little while ago, Lee's first choice would be to remove the policies that we going to start.
Just to stop using.
Stop using the policy.
And then contract.
The second would be to put that on the expense of the HOA. And her third one is if the policy was going to be kept, if we could revise it with some more additional information.
Okay.
She was feeling maybe to get ready for the meeting, so we ended there.
Okay. That clears it
So
up.
I think we need a little more, to do a little more help with that, if we so we can.
Okay.
With that.
I'm good.
And if the HOA pays for that, can you tell us what the impact would be on the budget and expense?
I
Yeah, next time we have a.
Oh,
After we have.
Next time we have it on the top of the Okay, next item is 5, review and approval of prior meeting minutes. Do we have a motion to approve the prior meeting minutes for March 13th?
I move that we approve the March 13th, 2025 meeting minutes.
We have a second?
I'll second.
Okay, Lisa, second. Any discussion on the board minutes? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
4-0. Yeah. Okay. Next item is homeowner comments. You want to take in person first or on the Zoom?
Okay, so again, homeowner comments, please, guys. I asked one, speak your name, so we can have that. Speak your, please. Give us 1 second. Please
Yep,
don't speak
yep.
over anyone. We have multiple people talking within the audience and the board. If they people get to know hands, it was being respectful of everyone's
You
time.
can call it.
I am going to have Tara, so we're consistent with time once you start talking. So, don't start.
Yeah.
Okay, you're the first gentleman. You can stay.
Mark Ayers, 98183 Cove Lane. I have multiple questions. One, for the vote, you excluded Dr. Mathison, who was still technically on the board for the vote, which would still mean it'd be 5 board members voting on the motion to have him removed. My math says we didn't make the 60%. You need better than 60%. 2/3 is more than 3 people. So without her, per our bylaws, what grounds are you using? Because you need 4 of the board members to kick them out. My second question is back to Paul. Why? I mean, I have no issue getting them booted out if there's a valid reason. Your personal reason, I would like to know. Those are my questions.
Well,
The
as I
statute
said,
preempts
Mark, I'm
unless
not
it
going to
says
give
unless-
a
Outline
lot
the
of commentary,
process.
and I'm not going to talk about it right now.
When are you
I
going to
said
talk
that
about
before.
Okay, please, everyone, please, this is what, this happened the last time, please. Ms. Dolores?
Yes, I live over at 10213 Hard Branch Circle, and I'm not understanding why you're being so secretive about the reason why you were doing this to Dr. Mathison. You know, I can understand if he did something wrong, but why don't you tell us what he did? I mean, we're part of the homeowners, we're part of the people that voted him in, and we're
This
the
Paul
ones
Snyder's a
that
real
will be
weasel.
voting next time around. We just like to know the
Just
truth.
the way he
We
did
want to
it.
know, we want the transparency. This is what everybody's been arguing
Should I
about.
call
Is
Elaine and
you
let her
all keep
listen?
all these secrets. And if it's a secret, then is it just something you just don't like him? And it's a personal matter, which shouldn't even be, which is part of a conflict? But this is the stuff that we start to think when you're not open.
Can you turn
You
it
know,
up?
open transparency is honesty. When you're being secretive, then we're starting to wonder if you're being dishonest with us. How can we trust a board who's gonna be secret? Transparency, that's all we ask.
Ask her if she can hear it.
So please, can you tell us why?
Can you hear it? All right, barely, she
Well, I
said.
can't do
I
anything about
can't
that.
make it higher.
Mr. Snyder, you're not gonna answer the question? No, okay.
No.
This man has been nothing but fighting for you. I've worked with him since April of last year. I'm sorry? I'm answering I can't answer the homeless question?
Sure you can.
Okay.
Her,
The question was
she's a
announced,
piece of
so you
shit.
don't have to stay on the agenda.
She asked for the board.
I asked for the board. Anybody that would answer me.
I don't want to cause a ruckus.
If you need to, I can ask the question next time.
Well, no, it's just, the one has 5 minutes and I'll go home and ask them why.
That, who's that?
Well, the other gentleman would ask the same question, so go ahead, Kurt.
Thank you, Mr. Gordon. This man has done nothing but fight for you. About, I don't know, what you say, 27,000 emails between us two and Lori, because Mr. Snyder and Ms. Solik refuses to provide their email addresses.
She's gonna serve today.
Mr. Smith does get our emails because he did provide his email address. He's done nothing but fight for you. Why? I find it cowardly that he won't answer to give one reason why.
He's a coward.
So, that's all. Just make sure it's on record.
Yes, Mr.
Nate Miller, 9731 Heron Point Drive.
Can you repeat your name?
Yes, Nate Miller,
Okay.
9731 Heron Point Drive. I assume that at some point during this meeting, someone will motion to remove her from the board as well.
Okay, that's not part of the.
It might be under new business, that's why he's blindsided.
At some point, I am wondering, based on the old business last week, when we asked about when there would be a two-seat election, I will be curious if there would be a two-seat election.
Sorry, again,
Of
yes,
course.
I apologize, again, that's not on the agenda.
Where is she coming up with this?
When might it be on?
Why does he want Kurdoff? Who is he?
Do I have any other?
Great question, sir. They had the board meeting, in my personal opinion, and this is my opinion only, not opinion of the board, please understand that. They, last week, Mr. Smith said, we don't know if we can have a two-seat election because of a court order. Correct me if I'm wrong, I was in Hong Kong.
He just said we don't know if we'll have an election at all.
Last week, on the board meeting, you said you don't know if we can have a two-seat election because of the court order of the motion to stay.
Sounds right.
Okay. I mean, I have the meeting here if you would like to hear it.
No, I would say that it sounds right.
Okay. I believe the homeowner's blinds, well, I hate to use the word because I use it earlier for him. The homeowner shocked the board. When you all showed up at 10 o'clock on a Tuesday, 10 a.m. on a Tuesday on a school day when the school parking lot was closed, and we got quorum and Greg and I got elected, you scared her. You all scared her. They won't have another election because they're gonna lose 2 seats. Because you're gonna scare them again. So last year, we were on a court order to have a 5-seat election. They told the court, we don't need a 5-seat election, we only have a 2, to abide by Florida statute. Well, the attorney says, and now this year, we're not gonna abide by Florida statute, we're not gonna have an election because the court order. Did I answer the question? I don't think you're gonna get your election. I make a motion for a two-seat election
And then have the election.
by April 30th. Any seconds?
I don't have a second.
You don't have to second it, of course you do. There's your answer.
Ma'am, thank you. Karen Simeoni, 10429 Hard Branch Circle.
Prison.
How do we get an item on the agenda? And why don't board members have to answer our questions? Isn't this board meeting open to the homeowners for input, but they don't have to answer our questions?
It's not more than documented, happening with questions, there's times where more research has to be done, depending on the topic, there's times that they need more information than they get in happens multiple scenarios, but if that it's not required that they have to answer the questions.
Brian Fisher, 10099 Park Branch. I've been there 6 years, and it's just comical to me that, like, I don't understand why we're all acting like teenagers, and I know there's lawsuits and things. When's enough's enough? Like, you mentioned transparency last year, you're available anytime to talk. We're there, nothing's happened for a year. Like, come on, like, enough of, we just want to have a community where people stop fighting, there's both sides, I get it. I'm in the middle trying to say, hey, when can we just, I stop hearing realtors say, your community's a joke, because all you guys are doing is fighting. There's not been an election in 6 years. I don't know how long you guys have been on the board. I don't know, I know you did, I see you drive by. That's it, and I have no problem with that, but I don't understand, like, why this has to keep going on, and what are you fighting for? Tell us some transparency, just tell it, you can't, like, why can't you?
So, Mr. Fisher, there's been an election every single year now, whether the community has made quorum or not is a different matter. And over 80% of HOAs in the state of Florida, of which there's 100,000, don't make quorum of the elections. Also, there's an active $20 million lawsuit against. O'Donnell. Yeah, I'm trying to be courteous, I'm trying to answer from my perspective. There's a $20 million lawsuit against the community. 2 of the people suing the community, besides Ms. Sanford, are still unnamed does. That lawsuit has been dismissed 6-7 times by the circuit court with prejudice. For some reason, They've taken it to the appellate court.
For some reason.
So the community is at risk for $20 million. Under easy math, that comes out to $20,000 per homeowner. We don't know who the does are. Mr. Poole and Mr. Mathison has not signed the board required conflict of interest and ethics agreements that has been in place for a decade. Okay? We don't know who the does are. We don't know who is suing the community for $20 million. The election, we have 2 lawsuits. So as of last year, Ms. Sanford was a party of 5 or 6 lawsuits against the community. So people talk about lawsuits. She's been the party of 5 or 6 lawsuits against the community. Her multi-million-dollar case has been dismissed 7 times, 6 times with prejudice, depending on how it's counted. Now they're in the appellate court. We have to defend it. If we don't defend it, every homeowner will theoretically have to cough up $20,000 at least per house. That's where you're hearing commentary from the voters. When you have board members that one sign, as every other board member for the last decade plus has signed, a conflict of interest and a code of ethics agreement in our bylaws, it starts to ponder some questions. And the attorney representing Ms. Sanford in the multi-million-dollar lawsuit against North Shore, which is all of you, the community is all of us, is Bruce Bertond. His wife now has 2 lawsuits against the community as well. One on the election, which the judge has stayed, but that's still pending. So you have an attorney who's representing a woman and a John and Jane Doe suing the community for millions of dollars. The original complaint was $20 million. Then his wife now has 2 lawsuits against the community. We don't know who the does are. It's years in the courts, and we don't know who the does are. So we've worked very diligently.
People like the entire community for this back. That's just too, that's insane. I get it, I understand what you're saying.
I mean, it's our fiduciary responsibility to protect the community and to recover the hundreds of thousands of dollars fees that were cost to defend that. It's our fiduciary responsibility, and we're being proved. And none of us have enjoyed being yelled at, none of us have enjoyed being attacked. You've got 14 board members, 3 of which are in their 80s, some of which have volunteered hundreds and thousands of hours for the community, well before I got elected to the board, and they're being sued. You know, Dave Bauer, one of the sweetest, kindest people, buried his wife with breast cancer. He's in the middle of colon cancer. He's 4 years old, and he's being sued as part of the $20 million. Dave's never done anything wrong. The day that Paul joined the board, the day that Lisa joined the board, that night, Bruce Murtaugh sued them. They had not even attended a meeting. They had not even done anything wrong. This is America. They never attended a meeting, they never voted, they've never done anything wrong. We can go through an itinerary, a whole list of people who joined the board. It's about 20 people. Bob Schoeneman, probably the most beloved person in North Shore, lives on Hart Branch. A wonderful Christian man who could build a bridge between both sides of conflicting parties. Bob was threatened and was told he'd never sell a house in North Shore again. So you've got Lisa sued, you've got Paul sued, before they even attended a meeting, let alone done something wrong. John Dick volunteered thousands of hours for being sued. Mike McCauley, Rob Cobb, Bert Pearsall, on and on and on. That's why it's not easy to get people on board. We've had people that have offered to come on the board that we would have been happy to go, and then the next day or that night, they get sued or threatened to be sued, and then they disappear. So we're trying to get this lawsuit settled. We're trying to get the lawsuit dismissed. The judge ruled, and it was a retired circuit judge, that the suit has no merit, it's absurd, and now they're in the appellate court, and the court's moving at glacier speed.
So there's two residents bringing suits, that's what I really
There's
want.
3 residents suing the community for millions of dollars. And then Miriam Bertond has 2 suits against the community. And as of last year, last time I counted, Lynn Sanford had 5 or 6 suits against the community. So you see recalls where people come door to door and are told, if they vote us off, everyone's going to get $1,200 back.
Here's the letter asking me to pay $366,000. As Dave said, I didn't do anything. And it was sent to my wife.
Could you read it?
Yeah, so I was just saying,
What's the
like,
date on it?
transparency.
Yeah.
Have something that says, let us know. I
And
don't know, seriously,
we
I
try to send
a
out,
lot,
we
right?
try to send out newsletters.
Right.
We, all of this, and look, if I sit here and explain.
Later I'll share.
Yeah, because I don't want those people doing, I get that.
Yeah, and if I sit there and try to explain it, people go, this is my mind. Everything is filed on the clerk of the court site. You're a very intelligent man, you're all very intelligent. You can go on there and read it with your own eyes and make your own interpretations, okay? So we've got Ms. Sanford, who has organized a recall. Ms. Sanford has promised residents and some of her door-to-door solicitors, they get $1,200 back. If they recalled us, people were told that if they contributed to her personal legal fund
Hour of gripe,
to sue North Shore,
of grievances.
Oh, God, now he's yelling.
she would reimburse them their legal fees off future dues.
He's a nut.
I mean, you want to talk about the highest unethical thing around, right? You got Mr. Mathison, who brought an attorney, Bruce Murtaugh, who's suing this community for $20 million into Laurie's office and left a recording device in there.
And there is a police report.
And there was a sheriff's felony report for that, and the sheriff's office recommended it. The sheriff's office,
You're saying
the
that
sheriff's
you're
office
lying?
recommended, the sheriff's office recommended felony persecution for that.
Persecution.
So,
Can I speak on this because I
Public
was
record.
surprised. Listen, that was a very disheartening moment for me, and you've been speaking of it now. I'm not in, I don't do sides. I'm here to do a job, and that's all I am trying to do. I actually have you on recording in the lobby. I found out it was there. I went out there, and y'all admitted it on camera. Okay, I was being recorded. One of the first comments you made to me, sir, was, I said, please stop bringing me into the middle of this, and you said, don't take it personal. It's part of the business. I have you and Attorney Berthold on thing. I immediately told you when Berthold came in that I did not have a conversation without our attorney. Okay, this, I will tell you right now,
She's making this.
it was admitted on camera that I would be recorded in my eye. Okay.
Okay, well,
Please,
can we move on?
that's what I was just
What
gonna
about
say.
that?
No, Lori, no.
Okay, I appreciate
Okay,
it.
the difference, and your speech was perfectly scripted, thank you very much. The difference is,
I'm sorry, there was no scripting.
the board.
Please don't be condescending.
I'm not
asking you a question.
I'm not, I said you had a great answer. I'm giving you a
You were
compliment.
scripted. You were being paid.
Okay, even the board, please listen, it's hard for me.
Okay, Laura, you.
Yeah, that's
All right, Mr. Gordon, you had a great answer, and it was a very, very comprehensive answer. The difference is, I believe what the homeowners are asking is, Ms. Sanford, Mr. Berthold, Ms. Berthold, they're using their own money. What this board is doing is using our money.
It's your money because you guys will have to make
Excuse me,
a,
hang on.
it's your money because you'll have to make a big $20 million.
Hang on, one second, it's my turn now.
Okay.
You said, oh, it's been dismissed 6 or 7 times. Dismissed 6 or 7 times with prejudice, and they file an appeal. Well, I gotta tell you this, the Department of Business and Professional Regulation, as well as Judge Nestor, Circuit Court Judge, ordered this community to have a 5-seat reset election. The board, without my approval, while I wasn't on the board at the time, appealed it. So why is it okay for this board to appeal, and an appeal costs between $35,000 and $70,000? Ms. England, you can confirm or deny that, that's what the average is according to Google. Why is it okay that you use our money to appeal, but it's not okay if an individual uses their own money?
The $20 million will be made up by the homeowners after we exhaust all the. Ma'am,
Please, everyone, please.
the homeowners would have to make that up once we deplete the millions of dollars that we put into reserves, very prudently to pave the roads over the next year.
Insurance.
That's the money that we've been saving. That's where a lot of your dues go to. And so when it costs $7, $8, $9 million to repave our roads that we're responsible for, if it's a gated community, those would be depleted, and every homeowner would be assessed, and their house would be leased to make up for the contingencies.
Name in the back, please, what's your name?
Jessica Thompson.
I'm sorry.
Jessica Thompson, 10245 Allen Landings. I have a couple of questions. The first is, after the election, how, when you were voted on, Who appointed you to stay on the board of whatever capacity?
Again, you guys, you have to stick with it. That was not.
This is homeowners comments.
Comments, right? I know this-
Right, but Florida statute statement, listen, I'm just trying to follow Florida statute. There's, I understand, like I said in my statement, I understand that everyone has their different
Aiden's very
opinions.
quiet.
Florida statute specifically states, and I believe the statute, again, if anyone would like to read it, I mean, would like to look it up yourselves. Florida statute 72306 states, you want me to paraphrase, I can paraphrase.
I'd like on the agenda at some point
Have
next
to keep
time.
it, but we have to keep it on the agenda, I'm sorry.
Under homeowners comments, I would like at some point for us to find out how he is still on board and running the board.
He's not a board member.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yes, yes,
I'm sorry.
Mr. Gordon is an officer. He is an officer.
Wait a minute.
Am I correct?
All right, again, we have to stick to the agenda, please, if you would like one second to know. Yes, sir. Ready? Right, yes, sir.
Okay, yeah, my name is John Freely, I live in Sparrow Lane.
I'm sorry, can you repeat the?
John Freely,
Freely?
Freely with a K.
Can you spell that for me, please?
Sure, K-R-E-H-E-L-Y.
K-R-E-H-E-L-Y. Okay.
Yeah, I challenge you to say that. Just kidding. Well, you for levity, right? So, a couple of things. One is, we, at the last meeting and then also at this meeting, y'all continue to hang your hat on these lawsuits. But that's a reason or a rationale for why you have to stay on the board, and why you need to be engaged, and why there's this fiduciary responsibility to the homeowners, which is laughable, first of all, because you're not exercising the will of the homeowners to start with. But aside from that, you keep hanging your hat on that. Did it ever occur to you that all those lawsuits are related to your recalcitrant and unwillingness to listen to the homeowners as one, to just move on and let others be elected to the board and fill the seats? Number two.
Sir, do you have a question on that, or a question on that?
It's a question, yeah.
That's not in regards to the agenda, you have to stay.
Yeah, it's homeowners' comments. And number three.
You still have to stay in regards to the agenda.
Yeah, and number three, that those lawsuits would be settled or even go away if there were different people sitting in these seats.
Yeah.
Did you ever get that in?
Oh, everybody's clapping.
The homeowners having to pay $25,000 or whatever it is, in additional special assessments or whatever, because all of the resources of. But did you ever give it a thought that if you had different people sitting in these seats, those lawsuits would become, that they would be settled or dismissed? And we can move on.
You have a question or a comment?
And it's like,
He is making it.
That is on the agenda. Her word is that you all received the agenda. I'm not trying to be difficult, I'm quoting Florida statute. The homeowner comment has to still be related to the agenda, that's the word of Florida statute.
It is.
All I am trying to do, if anyone has questions that are on the agenda, you can ask them, or comment on the agenda. I have to follow Florida statute.
If the report responded.
I need to keep this
I understand.
order, they are getting out of control.
I'm not getting out of control.
I said the meeting, I did not say you like.
We haven't stopped talking for 1 minute.
I'm sorry?
I'm not out of control, you're out of control. So the board have explanations for why they will not, and I'm responding to one of the questions.
I'm not, sir, all I'm trying to do is state Florida statute. I'm not trying to battle with anyone. I have to have order in these meetings. That is where it's difficult for me. I said it before, I have to just keep this meeting in order. I'm not trying to go back and forth, I'm not trying to be difficult, but we have to discuss what's on the agenda. I'm speaking loud because I've had homeowners and they ask me to have it on the thing. I'm speaking so everyone can hear.
Under this section of homeowners' comments, the board is allowed to speak and answer a question. But the homeowner are not allowed to ask a question without a response.
Would you like me to read you Florida statute? No, I'm sorry. In order to make this meeting, you have to stand Florida statute, please. Yes, ma'am.
Becky Schultz, I live on Turtle Indians. The gentleman here, I'm sorry, I forgot your name, with the baby, was his question that he asked on the agenda? No. And he was allowed to speak and stand for a long time and talk. I don't think his questions about the lawsuits were on the agenda. So if we're gonna tell him he can talk and this gentleman can't, that looks fishy to me.
Okay,
And I agree, I don't
started with a different,
I agree with what you're saying, I do believe that we need to have order, but I also think that one person's allowed to stand and ask whatever they like and get a very eloquent answer. This gentleman should be able to stand and ask what he likes and also get an answer. And if everything he asked, I think everybody in this room would love to hear the answer to that. And maybe we can put that under old business, because his questions did come up last meeting, so maybe that could be under old business. We did ask about that last week and did not get answers, so.
Sorry, your time was right. If that's how I would have to listen right now, I apologize again, I'm trying to keep this in order, okay? We're coming up on 3 minutes, I think we're 3 seconds short of it. I'm going to ask if anyone on the board would like to respond to your comments. Would anyone on the board like to respond to those comments? We have any other homeowners that would like to speak? Ma'am, yes?
Hi, my name is Lisa Fincham. I live in Myrtle Creek. Lisa Fincham.
FINCHEM?
Yeah, A-M. I live in Myrtle Creek, 9429 Myrtle Creek Lane. And I'm just confused because at the beginning of the meeting, when we were talking about, you guys were talking about Dr. Mathison, and the attorney was asked, are we going by the Florida's statutes? What's more important, or the bylaw? And Lori, out of your mouth, all I heard is Florida statutes, Florida statutes. But she said, we don't go by those.
I don't think
That's not what I said.
I think that should be clarified that.
There's nothing in the bylaws relating to questions. Therefore, the statute would be what we would fall back on. I didn't say the Florida statutes don't matter ever.
I
That's
think
ridiculous.
that's that question. Dr. Mathison asked that question. Are we going by the Florida statutes or the bylaws? And you point blank said to him, am I wrong?
I believe you are wrong.
It's recordable
Yes.
information.
That's right. Listen to the recording.
Okay, I just want to ask you a question. This is my first meeting I've ever been to, and
Well, welcome.
yeah, I guess so. I'm just asking a question. I'm sorry if I offended you, but that's what I heard. So, I apologize.
There's a, I can answer.
I was just confused.
There's a lot of things that we go back and forth on. Well, when I say we, I'm talking about the board members on this table, no one else. No one else on this table go back and forth on. Item number 4 on the agenda here says old business. Discussion followed on topics for 3/13/2025 special meeting. Well, Max, when we got elected in April, Dr. Mathison and I in May and June requested for a special meeting. We got an email from Orlando Law Group saying that we don't have that authority. So I can't answer your question. It seems to be whatever the board wants is what we fall back on. So whatever, I don't want to say convenient because that's not necessarily true. I'm sorry.
It wasn't a special meeting. I think that's just a typo. I mean, just ask Lori why it says special meeting.
Okay,
I don't know.
I'm under the understanding that for our bylaws.
No, bylaws.
Hold on.
I am under the understanding that for our bylaws, we have one, the board is present, one meeting, which that would be considered the board meeting, unless it is regularly through current meetings, which everyone takes, like our time, every month, it would be considered a special meetings.
Oh, okay. You're just calling all board meetings a special meeting?
Except for the one.
Okay, because you're talking about something else first. Okay, all
I
right.
know when Dr. Mathison and I sent certified letters to all three other board members, including Lori,
I'm just saying.
asking for a special meeting according to our bylaws. We got an email back from Orlando Law saying a special meeting is only for things that can't be done at the next regular scheduled board meeting. But now this is called a special, that's why I emailed you the special meeting.
That was more of a verbiage thing, and it's nothing.
So, the answer to your question is, we go pick and choose, yeah, exactly. I remember you asking the line back, pick and choose. Whatever's more convenient for the majority, that's what they're doing.
Okay, thank you. I don't get it, but.
I did it right.
Let me,
Hi, my name is the board, 962 Karen Court. I just have a question about the election from the board. Mr. Board has been appointed by the board. He is not elected, so why can't we just reappoint someone else as the president and solve some of these problems?
Okay, I made the motion, have an organization meeting, I announced.
Everybody's clapping.
I make a motion for an organization meeting, any seconds?
Okay, that was all the homeowner comments. The next item is.
There's a motion on the floor.
No, second.
Okay.
Go ahead.
All right, so I'm asking Ms. Lauren, she could unmute herself and state her name and address for.
My name is Lauren Curlew. I live at 9912 Turtle Bay Court. I do have a question about the follow-up on topics from 313, so that's how it will be relevant, and I'm sure that it'll go unanswered. But seeing as there was no discussion and the motioner and the second have been unwilling to share their reasoning for the removal of Dr. Mathison from the board, I'm curious how the three who did vote to remove him with no discussion have come to this realization, seeing as I do believe that you're not allowed to meet in between meetings. And it seems odd with no rationale given whatsoever to the homeowners that the three of you have just decided to remove him with zero discussion. So I am curious if there was perhaps a meeting or correspondence in regards to this issue outside of the meeting and outside of like a general assembly. So I'll just assume that that's going to go unanswered unless someone can say that they cannot hear me. Kurt, can you hear me?
I can hear you, Lauren.
Okay, so you heard my question. Thank you. I just wanted to clarify.
I didn't vote against Dr. Mathison, so.
No, I just wanted to clarify. Since there's crickets in the room, I was just curious as if I would be getting a reply or if the people will continue staring at their papers in front of them as if they give them the answers.
It's not gonna end up this way, we're looking at the No.
All right, I yield the rest of my time.
Next thing we have is Mike Drew.
Hi, good afternoon all. Can you hear me?
Yes, Mike.
Yeah, I'm actually dialing in here from the UK on a vacation. I just have a couple of comments and thoughts here and things I kind of really want to share from the heart. I moved to the US for true democracy. I feel this is failing right now in our community. And again, I'm saying this from the heart right now, and this has been the case since 2019 when I moved in. We don't have a voice. We really don't have a voice. And, there's certain aspects and things that I've witnessed that have just completely dumbfounded me from the current board of directors and still do today from the president, as well as others that are sitting there. That, there seems to be a clear narrative, a clear approach to what they want to do. And I just want to really just ask my fellow homeowners right now, and please, as board members as well, you're my fellow homeowners. please stand up if you feel like you have not had a voice for a long period of time, because I have been this way since 2019, and it is not fair, it's not right, and we need to really make a real standing now against this real wrong way of doing things in our home, in our organisation. This is a homeowners organisation. I will also just share as well from, I actually attended the last meeting in person, and to witness all of the board to your right, as well as the presidents, as well as the attorney, all getting out the same vehicle, was just really, that was just eye-opening right there. And I just want to thank as well staff. You know, I've got a lot of appreciation for Tanner, got a lot of appreciation for Laurie, Tabitha, and the others there. They do an outstanding job. They really do, and they don't need any of this backlash that effectively comes really to the board. So I just want to make those points clear. There's also some other things that I would like to share, but I feel that there's possibly, you know, things could go against me in terms of knowing what this current board do and how they come after people in terms of lawsuits, things that I've been asked of from other board members. So anyway, I would just like to yield the rest of my time, but I want to thank all the homeowners for being great people, outstanding people, and I would just love to see a real change here. This is a true democracy, and the people that have been voted out over time unfairly, it's just not right. So thank you all.
They're clapping.
Okay, wait, hang on. He did ask, and you said that's not true. I wasn't here, I was in Hong Kong. I wasn't here last meeting. You said what was true? That all the board members signed the same, were not on the same charge?
The only one I can't prove, or don't know is the same person.
Okay.
I know for a fact, Mr. Gordon, Mr. Smith, and Mr. Snyder got out of the same car.
Okay.
So I don't know, brought to the handicap parking spot.
Okay. I wasn't here, I guess I wasn't on that.
And we do that, and like this parking lot has hardly any spots, let alone people that want to use the fitness center.
It's only, it's
I'm
not,
trying to give a courteous answer.
they can't make decisions. It's like, there's no situation.
There's hardly enough parking in this parking lot, plus
Yeah.
people that want to use the playground, plus people that want to use the fitness center. So we made a decision to carpool so that there'd be more spots for you all. We didn't need to come 1 mile to sit here and collude. We did it as a courtesy to everyone, so that there'd be plenty of parking, or as much parking as possible for the residents and the people that want to use the fitness center.
And that's admirable, and you're saving gas, but we just need clarification that this anyone was not in the car.
It's just not taking 4 parking lots.
That's cool. That's cool.
Next one is Paul.
Mr. Wade, if I'm pronouncing your name correctly, do you unmute yourself? Wait. Mr. Wade? Okay, it looks like I have a Maria Wood. Mariah Wood.
Hi, Mariah Wood, 9836 Marsh Point. I just had a question about our lawyer's relationship. And if I understand it correctly, the lawyer is a vendor of the board. Is that correct? Or a vendor of the community?
She is, but again, is this a comment or a question regarding the item on the agenda?
How do I get it on the agenda? Because no, it's not.
If you would like to send me an email, I can request the board to ask you to have it possibly add it to the future.
Possibly.
I don't think that's possible, whoever made that comment.
Okay, thanks. It may be something I can clear up with the bylaws. I'm just trying to figure out if it's a vendor, how can the homeowners pick a different vendor? And how often do we get to choose vendors?
Okay, if you'd like to send me an email, I'll see what I can do for that, okay?
Thanks.
Access specific, I'll see what I can do.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, the next item on the agenda is.
Wait, we have another hand raised, I'm sorry.
I thought he called on him.
That's the gentleman, he's not responding.
Okay.
Mr. Wade, if you want to try one more time, Mr. Wade,
I think he dropped.
Can you hear me? Hello?
Now we go.
I'm here. I've been trying to unmute. So I'm going to say this. Have the elections, and we're going to vote again. The homeowners are not gonna give up.
Sir,
Do you understand that?
Sir, I'm just gonna ask you the same thing I asked everyone else.
No, don't, listen, don't pick and choose when you apply
No, I am
statutes
not.
versus bylaws.
I'm trying my best to maintain.
Do you not
order.
pick and choose?
I'm trying my best to ask everybody, if I miss somebody, I apologize, like it's so disrespectful one. I am asking if you're going to make a comment or ask questions, keep it in order from my perspective.
My name is Paul Y. I live in 9909 Indigo Bay Circle. I lived here for 6 years. I will vote every time. Our neighbors will vote every time. Right versus wrong, we're gonna keep voting. Mr. Gordon, did you get elected last year? That's a negative. That's a no. You keep talking about when you got elected. You didn't get elected last year.
Mr. Wade, do you have a question or a comment regarding items?
Yes, when are the elections?
I don't believe that's a question that's on the agenda.
No, it's, listen, last thing, you guys can quote bylaws, none of this supersedes Florida statute. So you can make up all the laws you want. It does not supersede statute.
Mr. Wade, I'd like to, I have to do this one last time. Again, guys, I'm trying to keep this in order. I'm gonna read you Florida statute, not the Bible. Okay? Florida statute 720.3066 states the following in regards to members' right to speak. This is word for word from Florida statute. Members and parcel owners have the right to attend all membership meetings and to speak at any meeting with reference to all items.
I heard you the first time.
Or included on the agenda. Okay, that's per Florida statute. Again, I am just trying to do my best.
All the Florida statutes for elections.
Okay, do we have another question?
Ms. Mahalo, just to Mr. Wade's point, you didn't object to when Mr. Gordon talked about 7 minutes about the $20 million lawsuit. That's not on the agenda either. So it is, as homeowners can see, it is picking and choosing.
My apologies.
Who's going to get interrupted?
Listen, I'm trying to write notes, sir. I've heard this question. I thought at the beginning of the conversation, the original question was regarding the last week.
Okay.
I apologize, I'm let everyone speak again. I am just trying my best to maintain order, you don't understand. Oh, no, I get it. I am not part of something that started well before my 10. Okay, I'm trying to do my absolute best. Okay, I do not, I don't have a problem with anyone. I am trying to do my job. So in order to do my job, I have to maintain order after the meeting. I apologize, I may have to go back, but maybe mistakes, sir, I apologize. Okay, that's all I'm trying to do. I'm trying to maintain order. You were on Zoom last weekend.
I wasn't.
It got a little, I'm trying to.
I wasn't.
I know, that's what I'm saying, you're on Zoom, so I don't know if you understand how it got.
How loud it got?
There was multiple people talking about this, all I'm trying to accomplish is keep it.
All right, one at a time.
Okay?
Can I ask you on the note thing? Why not, we have all this AI stuff, why not do that so you can listen? AI chats are easy. Have meetings all day long, they do it, right? It would alleviate that for you. Trying to help.
Okay, next item on the agenda is new business.
No. Okay, I have this. Everybody keeps talking about the advance, I have your name, Jackie from everybody keeps talking about the agenda, where is it and what's on it? I didn't get one, did you email them? It was in last week. Okay, well, my husband gets me, I'm why I didn't know.
You're welcome.
We have any other, I can't read classes, but thank you.
What I'm gonna try, I know I can't see, so.
You already spoke for a moment. Oh, I apologize. I have your name.
George Wood, 1936 Marsh Point.
George Wood?
Yes. I have a question since I'm kind of not thinking straight. I'm kind of thinking more about the lack of intestinal fortitude of these two knuckleheads over here. But anyway, my question for you, since you're reading these statutes now. So I believe the part you're glossing over says anything open for discussion or that is on the agenda. So are you telling me there's nothing open for discussion except what's on the agenda? Is that your interpretation of that law? So it's going to be complete censorship. I appreciate it, ma'am. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am? Yes. It's Alice Jean, also AJ Syntax, and I'm gonna go back to this gentleman over here. He's gonna do a little more elaboration on what he was trying to get at. I understand they have worked very hard. We have these lawsuits, so going back to the lawsuits. I honestly believe that if the gentleman and the lady over here, the people that have been doing these lawsuits, because apparently all we're doing is paying a lawyer.
Okay, it's not.
Okay, so
It's not.
but wait a minute, I am just going on his question. I'm just going down from his question. I'm just finishing up. I'm just gonna elaborate a little more on it. That, because we didn't get an answer, I would like to know and see why everyone thinks, because I would think if they would all step back and let fresh blood come in and take over these lawsuits, maybe we can work on something. I'm beginning to think that the lawsuits are a lot with the board itself and part of the lawyer here, because she's making rich off of our money, that maybe if we brought in new blood and let them do the lawsuit, maybe we can get something resolved instead of just going back and forth, because the time we do all this, she's just getting rich and we're getting poor. So we need them to all step back. Let's do a 5-seat, let them step back, bring in all new blood. Don't even put their names on the board to get voted. Let's get, yes, I'm asking, why can't we do this? Why can't they step back, bring in new people, and get these lawsuits resolved? Because as long as we have these lawsuits going, this community is dead. This community is falling apart. I've been here for 22 years. It wasn't like this until we had certain individuals on our board and we have all these lawsuits. We need to get rid of these lawsuits so as a community, we can heal and move on and become a community instead of all this nitpicking and all this craziness and spending all our money for nothing. And that's all. Just if they step back, bring new people in. Let's get somebody else in to negotiate these lawsuits so we can resolve them. Because they're not gonna get resolved as long as they're all sitting here.
We have any other questions? And already spoke, already spoke.
There are limit on
We did.
how many questions you can have?
There was at the beginning of the statement, it did say one question. At one time, to speak with a 3-minute hearing, but how many questions you have?
Oh, I see, okay. Somebody.
Okay.
Yes, Maria?
Maria O'Donnell, 10012 South Pine Court. Mr. Gordon, you're sitting at that table, you're not elected. You were recalled also. Mathison was elected, and you guys, 1, 2, 3 of you, sitting out there smirking and laughing at him, and then sneaking in at the last minute, as everybody would get up and walk out the door the other day to remove Dr. Mathison from the seat. Not fair. We had an election. We elected 5 new board members. You were elected out. And you guys refused to sit those 5 new members and let them take over. We did a recall. Nobody thought we were gonna get them until people to get the recall, but we did. I wasn't promised $400. I wasn't told that I would get money back in legal fees for my lawsuit. Can I ask you a question? When was the first lawsuit filed against the HOA?
We have to keep questions.
No, it goes back to the money in the lawsuit. When was the first lawsuit filed?
Stick to the agenda.
Mr. Gordon filed the lawsuit.
Hold on one second.
Mr. Gordon filed a lawsuit in 2014 or 2015 to come to the board and remove the other board members that were on. He had a fight-free election ordered by the court. Mr. Pina, Mr. Kemp, Mr. Zaremba.
Maria, that's not.
And that's how he got in. And that other board That other board was
Time to adjourn.
to walk away and go away. No,
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
You think it's time to adjourn? This is.
They're trying to maintain order.
You
And I
won't.
repeated, I'm trying my best, I really am. I asked over and over again to be specific topics on the agenda. If we are not going to skip the topics, my report, we're just on.
Okay, but Ms. Mahalo, by removing Dr. Mathison, which wasn't on the agenda either, just FYI.
Yeah.
Wasn't on the agenda, you left an open board seat, so now all these questions regarding elections now have by default become part of the agenda.
Good for Kirk.
It's not.
Well, all right.
I'm not, I don't choose boards. I go on and on.
Okay, but by the board, Mr. Smith, Ms. Solick, and Ms. Snyder removing Dr. Mathison, which to be honest with you, because that was my big, that's why I'm a big speaker, because I was at last week's meeting recorded. You left an open board seat. The homeowners are asking about an election. We now have another vacancy. We have 2 seats up for election this year, so now we have 3 seats.
You keep referring to me as.
It's not personal, you're the community manager. Okay.
I'm sorry, again, trying to maintain order.
Oh, God.
Let's move on to home new business. And then we'll have homeowner comments again, according to the agenda.
I'm gonna make a motion to adjourn the meeting.
What?
I'll second.
Oh, my God, now I'm sitting on my soul.
Discussion.
Yeah, why? Why? Mr. Snyder, why? You won't answer the questions why you moved him, now you won't answer questions why you want to adjourn the meeting. This is what happens when you don't have a board meeting for 10 months. 10 months. And we've begged for it, we've sent you certified letters for one.
They don't want to be there, and you people in business.
Exactly.
So be waiting to take their dreams. Fine, go.
Do we?
No, I say we continue and let the homeowner speak. I'd like to know what Elena Rondado new business is. I mean, I got your email, but okay.
Oh, jeez. You still there?
Pull the plug?
Yeah. Hello?
Did they just pull the plug on her?
Elena? Oh.
Well, I've got a recording of it, so.
Okay.
And it's not as bad as, it's probably less than a gigabyte. So I'll get it available. I didn't hear anything though of any value. I mean, it's just a bunch of, Gordon singing his silly song and Lori just talking